The emergency klaxon screamed through the Galactic Defense Academy's training wing, their piercing wail sending every cadet scrambling for their designated emergency stations. Commander Zixtal Usfor eyes widened in horror as he watched the security monitors, his chitinous plates rattling with barely contained panic. "Seal Sector 7. Seal it now," he screeched into his communicator, his translator struggling to keep pace with his rapid-fire clicks and whistles on the screen. The creature prowled through the corridor of Orathian Dreadmaw, one of the galaxy's most feared predators. Its obsidian scales gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights, each one capable of deflecting plasma fire. The beast stood nearly 3 meters tall at the shoulder, with rows of crystalline teeth that could shear through reinforced titanium. Its 6 legs moved with predatory grace, and the bioluminescent patterns along its spine pulsed with an angry crimson glow. How it had escaped from the xenobiology research lab was irrelevant now. What mattered was that it was loose, and according to every database in the known galaxy. Vorathian Dreadmaws were utterly untamable, hyper-aggressive, and had been responsible for the extinction of 2 entire species. "All cadets have been evacuated from Sector 7, reported Lieutenant Quarren, her tentacles trembling. "All except what?" Zixtal demanded. "The human, Felix. He was in the auxiliary gym." The doors sealed before he could reach the exit. A collective groan rippled through the command center. Humans were the newest addition to the Galactic Defense Academy, and while they had proven surprisingly capable in most regards, they were still considered reckless, unpredictable, and far too fragile for situations like this. Zixtal pulled up the auxiliary gym's camera feed, expecting to see the human cadet cowering in a corner or perhaps already torn to pieces. Instead, his mandibles fell open in shock. Felix stood in the center of the gym, hands on his hips, staring at the Dreadmaw that had just crashed through the doorway. The creature's head swiveled toward him, its crystalline teeth gleaming as its maw opened wide, releasing a roar that registered on seismic sensors 3 levels down. "Oh, you're a big one, aren't you?" Felix said, his voice carrying a strange note of delight rather than terror. The Dreadmaw charged, its massive claws tearing gouges in the reinforced flooring. Felix didn't run. He didn't even flinch. Instead, he dropped into a crouch, spreading his arms wide. "Come here, you gorgeous beast." In the command center, Evelyn burst through the doors, her auburn hair disheveled from running. She was Felix's partner in most training exercises and had become something of an interpreter for human behavior to their alien classmates. "Where is he?" she demanded, then spotted the screen. "Oh, for the love of that idiot. Your fellow human is about to be devoured." Zixtal shrieked. "We're preparing the suppression drones." "But wait," Evelyn said, moving closer to the monitor. "Just wait." On screen, something impossible was happening. The Dreadmaw had stopped its charge mere inches from Felix, its massive head lowered, sniffing at him with nostrils that could have swallowed his head whole. Felix remained perfectly still, letting the creature investigate him. Then, slowly, he raised one hand and placed it on the beast's snout. "That's it," he murmured. "You're not scary. You're just stressed, aren't you? All these strange sounds, strange smells. You probably haven't eaten properly in days." The Dreadmaw's bioluminescent spine flickered from red to orange. Felix's hand moved in slow, confident strokes along the creature's armored head. His fingers found the ridge just behind its orbital bones, a spot that even the xenobiology experts didn't know existed, and scratched gently. The change was instantaneous. The Dreadmaw's spine shifted from orange to soft blue. A sound emanated from deep within its chest, something between a purr and a rumble that made the walls vibrate. The creature's 6 legs folded beneath it as it lowered its massive body to the ground. "There we go," Felix said, grinning. "You're just a big puppy, aren't you?" He sat down cross-legged beside the Dreadmaw's head and began rubbing its belly, or what passed for a belly on a creature with 6 legs. His hands worked in firm, circular motions across the smoother scales of its underside. The Dreadmaw rolled partially onto its side, its tail thumping against the floor with enough force to crack the tiles dot in the command center. Silence reigned. Every eye, stalk, optical sensor, and photoreceptor was fixed on the monitor. "This is impossible," whispered Quarren, the Dreadmaw. Is it happy?" Evelyn sighed and pinched the bridge of her nose. Felix grew up on a ranch. He's been handling animals since he could walk. Horses, cattle, even a few exotic predators his parents rehabilitated. He's got a gift, a gift. Zixtel's voice climbed several octaves. That thing has killed trained warriors. Yeah, well, most warriors probably came at it with weapons drawn, Evelyn pointed out. Felix sees an animal in distress, not a monster. And apparently, the Dreadmaw can tell the difference. On screen, Felix had maneuvered himself so that he was now scratching behind the creature's auditory slits, while simultaneously rubbing its belly. The Dreadmaw's spine pulsed with contented violet light, and one of its massive back legs kicked involuntarily in pleasure. Who's a good apex predator? Felix cooed. You are. Yes, you are. 20 minutes later, when the suppression team finally worked up the courage to enter the gym with tranquilizer cannons at the ready, they found Felix stretched out on the floor using the Dreadmaw as a pillow. The creature's tail was wrapped protectively around him, and both appeared to be dozing. The team leader's antennae drooped in confusion. What do we do? Evelyn, who had accompanied the team, walked past them and kicked Felix's boot. Get up, you show off. Felix opened one eye and grinned. Hey, Evie, meet my new friend. I'm calling him Shadow. You can't keep it. Obviously not. But I did promise I'd visit. The Dreadmaw's head lifted at the sound of voices. But when it saw Felix sitting up, it merely nuzzled against him with enough force to nearly knock him over. By the end of the day, the story had spread throughout the entire academy. The human who had turned the galaxy's most feared predator into a purring pet. Commander Zixtel filed his report with shaking appendages, noting that humanity's most dangerous trait wasn't their endurance, their adaptability, or their tactical thinking. It was their apparently universal compulsion to pet things that could kill them, and somehow, impossibly, making those things love them back.